You're just a memory.
Your memory.
In The Force Awakens, Kylo Ren crosses a platform over a deep chasm in Starkiller Base. He hears the familiar tone of voice yell out, "Ben!" He turns around to see his father, Han Solo, standing there. He tells his son to take his mask off. They then have a conversation which ends with Kylo Ren telling his father,
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. Will you help me?
As we watch this scene for the first time, we hope Kylo Ren is going to do the right thing and hand over his lightsaber to his father. Instead, he does the unthinkable. He ignites it through Han Solo's chest and drops him into the deep chasm. Han Solo has been killed by his own son. The legendary smuggler is gone. A recurring theme of Kylo Ren is that he is torn between the light and the dark. He told his father the same thing just before he killed him. Then, it was evident that he was torn even more so after he killed Han Solo. Supreme Leader Snoke even called him out on it, telling him,
The deed split your spirit to the bone.
he was right. Kylo was torn. Throughout The Last Jedi, you could tell he was tormented. He was still a dark side user, but his interactions with Rey showed he still had some light in him. They fought together on the Supremacy against Snoke's Praetorian guards and were victorious in a teamwork effort. It's true, Kylo Ren was nowhere close to being as engulfed by the dark side as Darth Vader, his grandfather, was. He aspired to be like him, though, or better. However, he had too much light in him. This shone through with his interactions with Rey. He was very tender with her at moments. It was reminiscent of when his father, Han Solo, was falling in love with his mother, Princess Leia Organa. He was a torn soul, but the light shined bright from within him. He would have to keep putting himself back on course to keep his dark side on the forefront of his appearance and actions. His feelings for Rey were getting harder to hide. She saw the good in him, and he saw darkness in her. However, they denied each other at the end of The Last Jedi and went their separate ways. At the beginning of The Rise of Skywalker, he finds the Emperor on Exegol, and his darkness kicks in full gear. He is determined to be the master of the dark side, and the Emperor stands in his way. He is set with a task to bring Rey to the Emperor. His final stop, Kefbir, a moon in the Endor system, the final resting place of a large piece of the second Death Star's wreckage. Rey and Kylo meet again on the wreckage and engage in a furious battle on the exterior. Both combatants intense with their blows against one another. Neither are close to gaining the upper hand throughout the battle, until Rey pierces Kylo Ren's abdomen with her lightsaber. She tells him,
I did want to take your hand. Ben's hand.
and she places her hand on his abdomen and heals him. Then she leaves. At that moment, Kylo Ren dies, and Ben Solo was reborn. The transformation was clear on his face. He then hears the familiar voice come from behind him and gently say,
Hey, kid.
He turns around, and there stands his father, Han Solo. This is the most gentle tone we have ever heard from Han Solo in any movie. He tells Ben,
I miss you, son.
in his final attempt to fool himself back into the darkness, he tells his father,
Your son is dead.
No.
Kylo Ren is dead. My son is alive.
The conversation continues briefly, and Ben says,
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
You do.
Ben turns around and throws his crossguard lightsaber hilt into the ocean. Ben Solo has returned entirely. Is this a memory, or is it the version of a memory he would have liked more? The first time they had this conversation, his father yelled, "Ben!" as if he were scorning a child. The rest of the conversation seemed to be the same way, a father scorning his child. This time, his father had love for his son, even from the first words, "Hey kid," because that's what Ben was, a kid. He wanted a loving father, and this version of his memory gave it to him. The conversation with his father was deep and emotional, not just because of what they said, but the emotional weight they carried on their faces. It was a bittersweet moment for the characters. Ben knew of his mother's passing. She gave her life to bring her son back to the light. He also thought his father may just be a memory, or maybe he thought it was a trick from the dark side. Whatever the case, we see this as a conversation that must have played over and over in Ben's mind. It was tormenting him. Had he just made these decisions before, his mother and father would still be alive. Luke Skywalker, Ben's uncle, would still be alive. This is the way he wanted the conversation to go back on Starkiller base when his father was living and breathing in front of him. Ben Solo hated what he did and tried to use the dark side to cover his torn spirit from it. He had murdered his own father, and he couldn't take it back. But his father was there to allow him the opportunity to redeem himself, and he did. This was the last time Ben Solo spoke, and the last word he said was,
Dad.
I know.
Ben Solo died reviving Rey on Exegol. He was finally able to join his mother and father in oneness with the Force. Remember, these videos are all of my own analysis and my own point of view. Leave a comment below and let's discuss it. Thank you for watching, and as always, don't forget to subscribe.
Do it.
And leave a thumbs up to support the channel.
Do it.
Thank you all, and may the Force be with you, always.
Kylo Ren is dead. My son is alive.